Hey guys, welcome to the hashtag Get Real Woke podcast. I'm your host, Frederick D. Scott, and today is hashtag for the Free Friday, the time that I come on each week and teach you everything that I think you need to know step by step to be able to achieve the things you want to achieve in your personal or professional life financially. Now, before we get into today's topic, I need everybody to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and definitely hit the join button so you can join the hashtag Real Woke live chat community, take advantage of all our perks and benefits, and be eligible for the hashtag Learn to Earn Cash giveaway. Okay, let's go ahead and get started today. So today we're going to continue our credit mastery series. This is part 4 in the credit mastery series. And this is the part in the series where I teach you how to build credit. And so when I was thinking about this, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to share my story and use my story and my real world example to teach you how to build your own credit. So let's jump right into this. And to jump into this, I need to give you a little bit of a backstory. So if you've been following me for a while, you know already that I ended up pleading guilty to a white collar crime and ended up going to prison for 5 years. And on top of that, I got 3 years of supervised release. Now, the interesting thing about that is, so when I went to prison, I had about a 7, close to an 800 mid FICO score. And, to be specific, probably about 789, but 789 mid FICO score. That's what I had. Okay. Now, I go to prison, boom. I had the forethought because I've always understood how important credit is and, how much of a lifeline that can be. So what I decided to do was when I realized that I was actually going to do some time, I passed the limited power of attorney off and I had all my accounts that had any balances on them. I had them paid off and I had all the accounts closed. Okay. So my thinking in this was, okay, well, I won't do any damage to my credit when I come out. My credit will be A1. I'll be good to go. I'll be able to do all the things that I really want to do and continue moving as if nothing happened. Okay, great. Now, remember I told you that I got 5 years and 3 years of supervised release. Here's what they don't tell you, and this is a conversation for another day. One day I'll talk about, how probation works and how they use that as a tool to continue to hold back and disenfranchise people of color using mass incarceration and probation. That's another conversation. What they did, so when I had 3 years of supervised release, what they told me was that I wasn't allowed to establish credit without the permission of the probation department. And the probation department, of course, would you have guessed it, was not too terribly interested in me opening new credit lines or opening old credit lines that I had already had pre-existing. And no desire to see that happen. So when we talk about in credit, when we talk about the fact that collections, charge-offs generally stay on your account for 7 years. What a lot of people don't tell you that I actually learned the hard way is that all inactive accounts, for the most part, sit on your credit profile 7 to 10 years. So that means that if you're someone like me who had great credit history but closed all their accounts, right? So after 5 years, 2 years, after 5 years of time and 2 years on supervised release, I woke up one day to realize that all those accounts that I had closed, that I couldn't reestablish, that had all of those years of credit history on them were gone. How about that? So I went from a 789 mid FICO score to completely blank. Now, for someone like me to wake up and, because I check my FICO score, at least weekly. I'm checking my FICO score. So to wake up to see all blank on my FICO score out of nowhere was just like, wow. And then when I looked at my credit profiles and there was literally nothing there, I knew immediately what happened. It didn't stop the pissed off face. I mean, I had a boo face on, like, no, this is not what I wanted. But because I'm armed and equipped with the tools to be able to deal with that situation, of course, I was able to rectify and get right back on track. But it was like starting all over again. And so for a lot of you guys who are taking this credit journey, watching this series, first of all, I appreciate you guys. But the great thing about it is a lot of you guys are going to follow the instructions. You're going to use the letters, and a lot of great things are going to happen for you. But you're going to end up in the position that I was in, where you have a blank credit profile. And now you have to begin the building process. So how do you do that? What did I do? How did I go about this? So I'm going to tell you. So number one, right? And of course, I got my notes. I wrote notes. So I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So, what are the most important things that you need to be considering when you're building credit? So credit mix, credit utilization are the two things. Payment history and the age of your trade lines are the things that you really need to be considering. So the things that I want you to be thinking about as we're talking through this is age of the trade line. I want you to think about payment history. I want you to think about credit mix. I want you to think about credit utilization ratios as it relates to revolving accounts. These things are the biggest things that are going to boost your FICO score quickly. Now, so because we're using my situation as a case on how you build credit, I want to tell you all of the things that I thought about that ran through my mind. Okay, so number one, I considered the authorized user route, right? And I was like, okay, well, I know a lot of people with great credit that I could pick up the phone right now and they'll add me as an authorized user. Boom, we're good to go, right? The challenge with that is, and this is the challenge with any authorized user account, and it's funny because I just had a conversation with someone about this today. And the challenge that you have with authorized user accounts, okay, are they a good thing for you? They can be. But first of all, you need to know that FICO score model 8 and now FICO score model 9, right? They can detect an authorized user account. The algorithm can pick that up. And so it doesn't give you the same benefit that it gives the account holder, the person that actually established the account. They actually get the bigger benefit. You get a small benefit, but it's not nearly as much as the person who actually owns the account, right? So that's number one. Number two, right? The other problem that you have with authorized users accounts is that you are subject to the whims of the person that's using the card, that's paying the bill, et cetera, et cetera. And just because they have positive payment history on the account, just because they're paying the account on time every single month, that's only one part of it. The other part of it is, are they maintaining the utilization ratio month over month over month? And what do I mean by utilization ratio? So when you deal with revolving accounts, and if you remember in my last video, I went through what a revolving account is. Revolving accounts for all intents and purposes, and for most consumers, are going to be credit cards. Some consumers will have home equity lines of credit as well. But for the most part, most of you guys will be dealing with credit cards, store cards, things like that when we're dealing with these revolving accounts. Now, so every month, you should maintain a 30% utilization ratio on your revolving accounts, your credit cards. What does that mean? What that means is, let's say I have a $1,000 credit limit on a credit card, okay? At the end of every billing cycle, when the new billing cycle should come out, I should only be showing that I've got $300 outstanding on that card. So if you've used that card for more than $300 in a month, that's okay, provided that you pay it back down to the $300 before the next billing cycle comes in. That is what's going to give you the biggest boost. And it's going to allow you to be able to increase those credit lines quite quickly and quite considerably, because you're showing the financial institution that you use all of the credit that they've given you, but that you also have good fiscal discipline, good financial management, and you're able to extend the credit line, max it out, and then pay it down to its 30% utilization ratio within the same month. Lenders like to see that, and that boosts your credit score quite considerably when you follow that rule, right? So boom. So with an authorized user account, which is why I even brought this up to begin with an authorized user account, let's say that person, they pay the bill every month. But let's say it's $1,000 credit card and they've got $800 extended on it. Well, that's higher than a 30% utilization ratio. So while the payment history is great on it, you're not getting the biggest benefit. You're not getting the biggest boost. And in some cases, it may even drop your FICO score simply because the utilization ratio just simply isn't right. So that's the risk you run when you deal with authorized user accounts. Moreover, I want you to know that using an authorized user account where you don't have a personal relationship, you don't know this person, you just hired somebody to go find you an authorized user account, and they just plop something on your account for 30, 60, 90 days, whatever. There are some potential legalities to that make that potential bank fraud, by the way. So I need you to know that as well. So authorized user accounts, if you have a family member that has great credit, great utilization ratios, et cetera, that wants to add you onto their account, great. Should you go out hunting for what they call trade lines, authorized user accounts? No, I don't think you should do that at all. I really honestly don't think that's a good idea. And building credit is so simple. It's not really something that you really need to be focused on or spending thousands and thousands of dollars on. It's just really not necessary, because building credit's a lot simpler than that. So now, what did I do? So the first thing I did is I went to Self-Lender. Honestly, this is what I did. What I liked about Self-Lender kills two birds with one stone if you do it right. Yes, the interest rate is a little bit higher than I would like personally. But at the end of the day, establishing new credit, you have to take the good with the bad. You have no payment history, you have no credit history. So you got to take a little bit of a higher interest rate. You got to pay a little bit of a risk premium to be able to rebuild your credit. So what did I do? So first of all, I went to Self-Lender. And why did I go to Self-Lender? Why do I like Self-Lender, right? I like Self-Lender because what Self-Lender does is they give you what's called an installment loan, right? So you can drag it out over 24 months, right? And you can pay as little as $25 a month. And what it does is all the money that you're paying minus the interest is going into what's called a CD. You are building a CD. And so at the end of the 24-month payment history, all the principal that you've put in, you get back. Self-Lender keeps the interest that they've charged you every month, and that's how they make their money. So really what this is a very creative savings account that actually reports to your credit profile every single month. So if you make your payments on time every single month, you're going to have a stellar payment history that's going to be reported on your credit profile on an installment loan. An installment loan, by the way, that you're paying down every single month. And so that's the great thing, right? Because you're paying every time you make a payment, that principal goes towards paying down the balance of that installment loan. They keep the interest, but at the end, all the principal that you paid to this installment loan that you were paying down, you get all of that back at the end. I love that about Self-Lender. I think that's a very innovative financial model, and I think it's very beneficial for a lot of people, especially if you're trying to establish and build credit all over again. So I highly recommend Self-Lender, right? So that's number one. The second stone they kill is once you save or once you've made $100 worth of principal payments, you're allowed to get a self-credit card. So one lender, one financial institution can provide you an installment loan and a revolving line of credit. That is beautiful. Is the interest rate the prime interest rate on the market? No, it's not. But remember, you are building credit. So with a self-credit card, now it becomes about discipline. Remember, I told you, discipline is very important to building wealth. Doing anything successful for a long period of time requires discipline, right? Okay, so let's stop here and let's walk into the fact that there are two types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And so good debt is debt that you take out other people's money that you reinvest to make more money, more growth, more wealth for yourself, right? Bad debt is that you take out for a vacation, a pair of shoes, whatever. You borrow some money, you go out and buy the newest, flyest pair of shoes. That is terrible debt, because by the time you pay that interest back, the interest on that loan and that principal back, you probably paid 2 or 3 times more than what the shoes were. That is a bad use of debt. So, how do you use a self-lender credit card the right way? Well, let me tell you what I do, right? What I like to do is, I know I have recurring bills every single month, right? Every month I got bills to pay, just like all of you. I'm no different. I have the money to pay all of my bills, no problem. It can come right out of my account, auto pay, not an issue, good to go. However, I'm thinking, right? I'm building credit. So how do I want to go about this? So all the bills that I can possibly put on my credit card to max out that credit card every month, I pay all those bills with the credit card. And then I immediately, 2 or 3 days later, I go in and I pay it down to 30% utilization from the money in my bank account that would have gone towards those bills anyway, right? So now what I'm doing is maxing out the card every month, but then taking the cash I have in my bank account and paying that down back to the 30% before the month ends. So I'm paying my bills. And here's the great thing, because I'm leaving 30% outstanding, right? Because I have to show positive payment history and good utilization ratio. I'm actually temporarily saving money. What I mean by that is, let me not say I'm saving money. What I'm doing is I'm keeping more of my free flowing cash flow on my personal bank or balance sheet, my personal balance sheet, right? And I'm able to use that 30% that I would have used on bills anyway. I can now deploy that 30% somewhere else that's going to make me more money. That's the great part, right? So I'm only paying, remember, I'm paying all of my bills with the card. But when I pay the card, I'm only paying 70% of the card. So that extra 30% that I would have had to pay if I had to pay it out of my bank account, I'm deploying to make more money. That's smart. That's thinking. I'm building credit and deploying excess capital that I have now available towards something else. Now, what happens? So what I do is I like to run a 30% utilization for about 6 months. And then what I do is I pay off the entire card balance just to prove that I can, and then I start all over again, right? So I show the lender once every 6 months that my cash flow position is stable. I can pay off your card at any time. I purposely choose not to pay off your card. I purposely choose to keep a 30% utilization ratio. I purposely choose to take that extra 30% that I would be paying towards bills and deploy it for something else to make money. I'm showing the lender that I'm fiscally prudent, that I'm smart, that I'm financially savvy, that I understand how to manage credit, and that encourages them to give me more loans, bigger loans, and trust me with more of their money, because I'm proven that I'm not only trustworthy, but I'm disciplined and fiscally knowledgeable about how credit works. So you say a lot of things without really saying anything if you do it well. If you just let the actions and you just follow the right process, protocols, and procedures when it comes to dealing with credit, your actions tell paint a much clearer picture of what you're capable of than anything that can ever come out of your mouth, right? So always remember that. Now, the other thing I did, so we talked about utilization ratio, keeping your utilization ratios at 30%. The other thing I did was I Experian boosted, right? So of course, yes, I have utility bills. Yes, I have a cell phone bill. Yes, I have all of these things that I pay month over month over month. After 3 months of payment history, right, I was able to Experian boost, which means that what Experian did was they added those items like my utility bill, my cable and internet, my cell phone, all of those great things, they added it to my credit profile. So I'm getting positivity from that. Now, mind you, that's only Experian. So that's only showing up on my Experian profile, right? That's not going to be on my TransUnion or my Equifax because it hasn't been reported there. It's been reported to Experian Boost, right? So now that FICO score is a little bit higher than the other FICO scores because of the Experian Boost. And that's okay. I'm good with that. I'll take all of that. Like I just want, I wanted great credit. So I'm going to use these tools to my advantage to be able to build great credit. So that's credit utilization. That's Experian Boost. Let's talk about credit mix. Do you need a good credit mix? Yes, you do. Credit mix is very important in building credit. So you need an installment loan. Self-lender gives you that. You need some revolving cards. I recommend about 3, right? I recommend about 3 revolving accounts. So that's 3 credit cards, right? And so what if you can't get approved for 3 credit cards? Get a prepaid debit card. So get your self-lender card and let that be 1, and then get 2 prepaid debit cards. Put $500 on 2 cards. That's $1,000 right there. And go ahead and get you 3 revolving credit cards. Now you got 3 credit cards. How do you work 3 credit cards? How do you work this out to make this work right? Boom, let me tell you, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, remember I got bills every month. I'm going to take my self-lender card. I'm going to max out that card. Then, and now I'm going to put all the bills I can on that card. Let's say if it's $1,000 card, I'm going to put $1,000 worth of bills on there, baby. I'm paying them all on the card. I credit, cha-ching, let's go, right? But then, let's say I got a Bank of America prepaid debit card, right? All right, cool. Let's say that's got $1,000 limit on it. Let's just say, right? Boom. I'm going to take this card here, my Bank of America card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay $700 of the self-lender card, right, with this Bank of America card, right? Now that's at 30% utilization. Now self is at 30%, Bank of America is at 30%. I owe $700 on this card here, right? Because I done maxed it out, right? I done put $700 over here, so I got $700 outstanding over here now. I'm at 30% utilization there, right? So what can I do? I can hurry up and pay down some of that third card if I want to, right? I can pay down some of that Bank of America card, my third card, right? And then go ahead and use my cash to pay down the third card. You see how I did that right there? So what I basically did was I used 1 card for the bills, 1 card to pay down that first card, another card to pay down that second card, and my cash to pay down that third card. Look how much money I'm net cash flow that I'm actually keeping on my balance sheet simply by running it this way. And if I just keep doing that month over month over month with 3 credit cards and an installment loan, baby, you over 700 within like 4 or 5 months. You're going to be over 700. And it's that simple. You just keep following that same discipline. So now when you get in to go get a mortgage, you're going to actually qualify for the mortgage provided you check all the 5 C's of lending, which we're going to get into the 5 C's of lending when we talk about lending. But look at what you've done. Just a little bit of discipline, a little bit of patience, a little bit of strategy. You're able to build credit, and it's that simple. Now you get that mortgage loan. Now you got a mortgage loan on your credit report. You pay that on time. Your credit score goes even higher. You get a car loan. You get that on your credit report. You pay that on time every month. Credit score goes even higher. And round we go. The thing you play with the most is utilization ratios in your credit card, making sure you keep those at 30%. Making sure you have a good credit mix, right? Making sure you have a good, you got some revolving accounts, you got some installment loans, you got a mortgage, you got an auto loan, you want to have those basic things on there. And as you continue to do this, as you continue to show that discipline, not only does your FICO score go up, but your credit limits go up. So now you started this business. Now you want to go in and take a $50,000 personal loan, and you can do that. If you're disciplined for a year, there's no reason why you can't walk into 3 banks and walk out with 150 grand. I'm just telling you. Great credit, great discipline, great strategy, great fiscal prudence. You're where you need to be in a year. It's not hard, right? This is not hard. Now, so here's the thing, right? And I knew this wasn't going to be a very long video, but so this is the path I took. Right? This is how I got back on. This is what I did, right? this is how I built my credit back up. It wasn't hard. It was just a matter of strategy. Like, it was just a matter of strategy. Like, it was just a matter of simple, executable things that I just did month over month over month. And I just kept doing that. And it just builds and builds and builds. But I had great credit before. So I already knew what to do. Like, I mean, God, I've been on Wall Street for over 15 years now. Because I just hit 15 years earlier this month. I had 15 years. So, I mean, God, after 15 years, if I can't do something as basic as building credit, I probably shouldn't be even talking to y'all. So what I'm telling you, so it was very interesting that I had to go through that and that I had to start all over again, because it really gave me an opportunity to do this again and then come back and talk to y'all about it, using my own life as a case study for how you build credit. So there's that. Let's see. What else do I want to cover? What else do I want to cover before I get off of here? Like, I'm looking through my notes here. I want to make sure I talk to y'all about authorized users. I talked to you about Experian Boost. I talked to you about credit utilization. I talked to you about credit mix. Age of the trade line. Oh, yes. So age of the trade line, right? What's age of the trade line? So when you open an account, a brand new account, okay. If you've had it for a month, it's a month old. The age of your trade lines plays a factor in your credit profile. The longer you have them, the older they are. If they have 100% positive payment history now, the older they are, the more seasoned they become, the better they are, the more they boost your FICO score. Of course, payment history, don't miss a payment. I mean, hey, don't do that. Don't miss a payment. Just follow the advice that I'm giving you. Just do this thing right here, this simple way that I outlined it. Just do that. And if you just do that, you're going to be where you want to be. Okay, I talked about credit utilization ratios and revolving accounts. So I did talk about that. So that's basically it. That's all I really wanted to cover with y'all today. I mean, listen, the credit building part of my credit mastery series don't really be long and drawn out. Don't really be complicated because it's so simple, right? I just give you, like, a lot of people got a lot of theory. They got a lot of, do it this way and long drawn out talk about building credit. It's really not hard when you put it into practice. This is a practical, no nonsense, all meat and potatoes ways of building your credit. That's it. Hey, listen, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope you put these things into practice. Hey, listen, definitely drop a comment at the bottom of this video. Let me know what you think about this. If you got any additional questions, if you felt like I didn't cover something well enough, hey, feel free to leave me a comment. I'd be happy to answer in the comments, or if necessary, do another video to clarify a few things that maybe I didn't do such a great job clarifying this time. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all as always. I love that y'all come and listen and hear me speak. I'm glad that I'm able to impact your lives and benefit you guys in the way that I have. Let's see here. Definitely make sure, hey, listen, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Definitely hit that join button to join the hashtag Real Woke Live Chat community, because first and foremost, right, it's your guys' support that allow me to even keep coming up here making this great content and rolling out different programs and initiatives that benefit our community, like the hashtag Learn to Earn Cash giveaway, which by joining the Real Woke Live community, hitting that join button, you are automatically eligible. Once you join that live chat community, you are automatically eligible to participate in the hashtag Learn to Earn Cash giveaway. And I'm giving away a minimum of $1,000 every single month. Hey, man, I can't make it no simpler than that. Yo, like, I'm trying to get this bread into your pockets. What's up? Hit that join button. Anyway, y'all, listen, I appreciate y'all. I value you guys so much. Thank you to all my loyal supporters that do support me already. It means more than you know. And hey, if you ain't hit that join button, that subscribe button, that like button, that bell notification, hey, man, what you waiting for? Let's get it. All right, y'all. So that's all I got for y'all today. So until the next hashtag for the Free Friday, I'm out.